Okay, here's our 4-card spread for the solar eclipse coming up in America. I've done a present moment which I'll represent as the solar eclipse. We have the past, what's preceding that moment, what's preceding the solar eclipse. Then we have the immediate future, and then the long-term view. So what we can see here for the solar eclipse itself, we have the Queen of Wands, we have what's led up to it, the Four of Swords, and we have going into the future, the Ten of Pentacles, and the long-term view is Death, which is a profound card it might seem to pull for this reading. So I'm getting a picture looking at all of this. The present moment, the eclipse presents us with an auspicious opportunity. The Queen of Wands is a magnetic, confident and nurturing energy. Her cat suggests protection. It's interesting that it's black, at the same time a black cat. And the sunflower that she holds, that's again the sun. So just this Queen of Wands is a profound card, I think, to pull when we're thinking about the solar eclipse that's upcoming. And the sunflower, of course, leans towards the sun. You've got that heliotaxical kind of element going on there. So the card is already speaking to us, or the cards are already speaking to us. Our past, the Four of Swords, communicates that we are in a period of healing, perhaps, in a period of rest, up until this point of our journey. There are things to do. Perhaps the one sword at the beginning, at the bottom, suggests one of many battles we've been fighting, and perhaps the ultimate battle is to be true to ourselves. The immediate future, the solar eclipse in the form of the Ten of Pentacles is telling me that we are there's a great fullness and abundance that's going to follow potentially from this solar eclipse. What sort of abundance, we don't know maybe, but there's immense potential for joy and profound fulfillment. It's a really busy card, and it's full of life. And the long-term future, this ominous death that's been pulled, extraordinary, the long-term future, the death symbolizes a coming to an end, and it's a very strong card to end on. It's part of the major arcana. While it can imply death in its most material form, it also symbolizes, completion to the end of a journey, and most importantly is perhaps a signifier of new beginnings, new directions, rebirth and renewal. So quickly, as a final conclusion, I guess I'd say, looking at these cards, what we have here is a story that the cards are telling us. The eclipse presents us with a pregnant moment full of potential and cosmic protection as it evokes the sun. Of course, we're entering the spring and the summer here in the northern hemisphere, so that's appropriate. And the eclipse is presenting us with a play of light and shadows from the unseen that's guiding us at this time. If we refer to the Queen of Wands, our past is indeed reflective of the past few years, where people have felt embattled and at odds with the world, in fear, terrified, fighting often, and indeed fighting now. Many people wish they could curl up in a ball and retreat and wake up from these tumultuous times. Under the surface of this mundane reality, however, everything is everything but mundane. We are dreaming in new directions and preparing for battles we've not yet faced. With all the intensity of the multiple key elections in many different countries around the world, with the clash of ideologies and political forces at play, propaganda, perspectives and culture, we're in a state of almost exhaustion right now, I think. And so I think that card of the Four of Swords is really appropriate to describe where we've been. The cards tell us in the wake of the eclipse that there's a strong possibility to experience a profound sense of abundance. Perhaps what it will open up is possibilities that didn't seem possible before the eclipse. there's so much chatter in the collective consciousness at the moment about what the eclipse means. And we have to remember that for all our machinations and projections about the future, we are anchored here on Earth at this time at the mercy of nature and its cycles, just as the eclipse is another cycle. Even the Schumann resonance at this time seems to be having a mind of its own. Such extraordinary times to consider, and even in the abundance of this abundance is purely a product of the massive tsunami of information that we are currently absorbing as a result of information technology. Really extraordinary times. Finally, the Death card is telling us that what is ultimately around the corner is a profound shift of some kind that's on the horizon. It tells us that whilst it might seem like the end, with everything going on, all the collective fear and trauma that has preceded this eclipse and everything that follows it, there is an inescapable change ahead. We will perhaps become unrecognizable to ourselves as we move through this window. And we might move towards collapsing the false divisions, manufactured illusions, and the crises that characterize these times. That's what the card is saying to me. You know, sometimes I feel like we're at the end of a Monopoly game. And everybody knows what that's like, where all the options have sort of dried up and you've just got a few big winners effectively moving basically everybody around the board, whether they like it or not, and there's no hope. You know, there's in a sense no hope. It just seems like a dead end. And you know, there is an exhaustion in that, and a profound sense that there's just nowhere else to go. And perhaps what this card is telling us is that, you know, it's the end of the game. It's the end of the game, and it's time to pack the pieces away in some way, shape, or form, and, you know, find new things to do together as a species. Find new songs to sing together. Anyway, this is Planet Frog doing a reading for the solar eclipse on the 4th of April 2024. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and thank you for existing.